Welcome back to another episode of Lineage View. I'm Lineage View, and today I'm going to be showing you my latest record pickup since the last video. So firstly, we'll start off with the most expensive one that I bought myself, which is the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack on vinyl. Now bear in mind, this came out quite a bit after the remake came out. This was like over Christmas, I think. It's a weird one. So they released a vinyl to begin with that had, I think, 6 songs off the remake, 6 songs off the original, which seemed cool, but I didn't really want that one because it was like, I want more from the soundtrack. I was kind of thinking I either want all new songs off the remake or just the OG songs off the original. I kind of left it because it was like £77 or something when I looked at it again. I'm like, I don't know if I can justify that when there's 12 songs and, you know, 2 sets of the same songs. So I left it. But then they released this, which is the entire soundtrack of the original game, which is exactly what I wanted. And it was quite a bit cheaper than the other soundtrack which came out, which I thought was fascinating. The really cool thing about it, well, I mean, it comes in kind of, I mean, it looks okay from here, but when I show you like this, it's Crinkle City and I am the mayor. So I could take or leave it when it comes to picture discs normally. However, these look so cool. I'm going to show you these now. So I'm not going to take them out of the packaging because it's a nightmare to get them back in because it's kind of just plastic. But you've got like Midgar there. Again, like a really iconic scene there from Midgar when Cloud goes on top of the plate. We've got Aerith there. Hell yeah, come on. And then we've got Sephiroth. Whoa, there. We've got Sephiroth on the back there. So I've put this on so many times. It's surprising the amount of times I've put this on. Final Fantasy VII has just one of those soundtracks that I could just listen to over and over and over. It's so good. So next is a funny one. This is a record I already own. I rebought Don Broco Technology. Now, this is an album that's been out for years at this point. Like, they're almost releasing their new album, and they tend to leave it years in between them. So the reason why I bought another one, to take it back, I feel like I mentioned this in my other video. It annoyed me that it was only pressed on black, because I really, really like this album, and I really wanted a coloured record for this, and they just didn't do it. However, the case came with like a beveled gold case, and it looked really cool. But the record was just like pressed on black. It was like a gripe for me. It was like, that's kind of annoying, you know. Until out of nowhere, they announced that they're gonna release a coloured version. They're gonna release 2 of them actually, and so I went for the green one instead of the orange one, and I think I made the right decision, and I'll show you why now. This is the Technology record, and the ironic thing about all of this is this was cheaper than the other one I bought, the original that was just pressed on black. This is, I think these were super limited. They sold out really quickly, but just look how nice this looks. I couldn't be happier with this. Like, after all these years, to finally get that, I'm really, really happy with it. I was tempted to buy both of them, to be honest, but I thought, I don't think I should. So next is a single. It's the Biffy Clyro Moderns single. So it's got the Modern Leper, Frightened Rabbit cover, and it's got Modern Love, the David Bowie cover. This is pressed on white, I think. Yeah. So these were a bit of a pain to get in the first place because they came out in I think it was Record Store Day, and it was kind of a bit different that year. So it was a bit of a pain to get them because there was like a weird queue on Banquet Records that I bought it from. I got one though, I'm happy about that. This is another single, and again, it was a massive pain to get, but I'm glad I have it. That is, right, interestingly, I'm not really a big fan of this artist, so it's Billie Eilish, No Time to Die. So I'm just not the hugest fan. It's not because I dislike the music. I think it's really well produced, and I know all about her and Phineas and all of that. This, however, really resonated with me. I think I've got a soft spot for Bond songs, you know, and I think this one was just so authentic. It felt so modern, but it was paying tribute at the same time, and it was, And so this is on a really cool, like, it's kind of see-through-y. I'll put it up to the light so you can see it properly. It's kind of like a smoke wash look. It's really cool. This was really hard to get. I've never really had this much trouble getting a single before. I mean, maybe except for the Biffy Clyro one, but this was even worse. I guess I underestimated the size of Billie Eilish's audience that looked to get things on vinyl. But yeah, it sold out within minutes. Like, it was maybe 2 or 3 minutes and it sold out. But it locked me out of the website because I kept refreshing it and it was like, ugh. froze, had to refresh it, and they were sold out. I had to find them on another website. Found it in the end, nightmare. And I was like, I don't even really like it that much, you know? I really like that song, really happy I've got that copy though. Next is Love Goes by Sam Smith. I had to get it because I have the other 2 albums. Again, it's pressed on black. It's a double gatefold though, which is nice. There we go. The thing is, Sam Smith's albums are always pressed on black. I don't know if there's ever been any limited edition versions, but I've got all 3 albums now and they're always just standard, you know, here's a vinyl, quote unquote, and it's almost like there's not as much care put into it. So I spoke to my brother about this because I'm really picky when it comes to coloured records, and I seem to just buy them these days, and if it's just pressed on black, you know, I'll leave it just in case they release a special one. He tends to get them just to have the record, which is a more fair way to see it, to be honest, and maybe I'm just being a bit too picky when it comes to records, but it just feels like the band are putting in more effort when they do limited runs of certain records, and I think that's what makes it feel so special. I think part of the reason for collecting records is the collectability of it, and if you have just some bog standard, just regular record that's in no short supply, it's just less enticing. If you have a record that's 2,000 copies, it's a really cool colour variant, that's half of the reason I collect them in the first place, you know? So next, I'm really happy to finally have this one. In the other video, I mentioned that I was missing one record, okay? So this is Rage Against the Machine's Battle of Los Angeles, and I'm so happy I finally have it because now I have all 4 official studio albums. Okay, when you think of Stranger Things, what's the first thing you think about? If you thought soundtrack as well, you're in the same club as me. Stranger Things has an incredible soundtrack. That was one of the coolest things that really made me want to watch the show in the first place. And I really wanted to finally pick up the records. They're kind of on the more expensive side. With this, I was able to get it a little bit cheaper. There was like a discount code, which is kind of hard. Normally you don't really get too many discount codes on records because it's kind of like they are the price that they are. It's the same everywhere, you know? So finally got it. This one's cool. It's on kind of like a grey smoke wash colour. Kind of like the Billie Eilish one, but more translucent. So, oh no, I got it wrong. I was thinking of the other one. So I'm really happy with this one. This is on a splatter vinyl. Look how cool that looks. They always put so much effort into the records and it really shows. I mean, just look at it. Just look at how clean that looks. Oh, and the soundtrack's fantastic as well. So this is for Stranger Things Season 2. I do also have Stranger Things Season 3, which I've kind of just spoiled. You heard it here first. Stranger Things Season 3. Oh, I forgot. It's kind of like a greenish colour as well. I must admit, it looks a lot cooler in camera than it does in person. It looks really cool, but that looks really cool because it's got the light behind it. But oh my god, they just put so much effort into it. It's so nice to see. So, I've never crowdfunded a record before. However, if you're familiar with lo-fi hip-hop, you'll probably know who Chilled Cow is, the company. If you don't recognize the name, they're the people that do the Lo-Fi Hip-Hop Girl live streams. It was interesting because it's not very common because it's a relatively new genre. You don't tend to get it on record, which brings me to the crowdfunded Lazy Sunday by Chilled Cow with the Lo-Fi Hip-Hop Girl on it. Look how sick this is. It's kind of clear as well. Can't really see that on camera all that much though. It's nice, it's clean, it's nice. Next is Yumi at 6, Sucker Punch. This is their latest album. Feels kind of flimsy actually. Not gonna lie, I've actually not listened to it yet. It's been out for a short while now, but I just haven't got around to listening to it. This is one of those stories which I think most people who have collected records, or this applies to most things to be honest, anything retail oriented, where you see something and you go to pick it up but you decide to wait, and then by the time you go to pick it up, it's gone, and you never get it. It's the most defeating feeling ever, and every time you hear any mention of anything related to it, it's painful to think about. This is the case with the official record that was released for the Minecraft soundtrack. So I saw it in 2018. They released a really limited run. It was on a green vinyl. It looked so cool. And I saw it, but I wasn't getting paid for another few days, so I left it and I thought, you know, what percentage of people playing Minecraft are going to want the record, you know? Well, it turns out everyone wanted this record. It's never been back on sale ever since, and I've absolutely kicked myself every single time I hear the word Minecraft. Until now, okay. They re-released a Minecraft record, okay? They released another one with more songs on it, and they made it even cooler looking. So this is a first for me. I've never owned a lenticular cover. Look at how cool this is. Just look at how cool this is. It's so cool. Oh my god, I could look at that all day. And it doesn't end there. Okay, so this record is also on a splatter vinyl, and it just looks insane. Especially with the way that it sort of matches the front cover as well of that sort of Minecraft Ender block, I think it is. So, next. Due to one thing to another, this got stuck in the postal system for about 12 months. This took about a year to get to me, and that is the Chon record. And it is insane. So I was going to buy this record in the UK, but I saw the American version that they were selling on the Sumerian Records store was a lot cooler, and I thought, you know what, I'm about to go to the States anyway, so I'll buy it and get it sent to a house. When we got there, it hadn't arrived, and then one thing led to another. It was just getting passed about, and it just took so long to get back to me. Finally, 12 months later, we have it, and I'm so happy with it. The album alone is fantastic. Like, it's such a solid record. And to make it even cooler, here is the record. I believe there's only either 250 or 300 copies of this in the world, and they go for quite a bit. They go for a lot more than I paid for it. So in that year of it being passed about, it just rose in value, and I'm really glad to have one. Next is Biffy Clyro Cop Syrup. Now this is a 12-inch single with, it's got the original song and then it's got the live version. The reason why it's a 12-inch single is because it's like a really, I think it's like a 6-minute song on the album. This is off the Celebration of Endings, which I mentioned last time as well. And this came out, and normally I don't tend to bother with singles for most things if it's just a song that's already on the album, but because it's a 12-inch and because it comes on this really cool color variant, I thought I can justify it, you know? Look how nice that is. It's so clean looking, like the deep purple in this. Okay, so similar to last time when I mentioned about the Mallory Knox album, this is a similar case. So, you know the times where the band's first albums are really, really good, but because they're not big enough at the time, it never gets a vinyl release? Talking about the band Loathe, I got their latest record on the last video. Now, their first album is an actual masterpiece. It's kind of this really great blend between like synth wave sounds and old 80s inspired music like Far Cry Blood Dragon or the Stranger Things soundtrack, mixed with this really cool metalcore hybrid band. It's incredible. They're so underrated, which made it even worse, to be honest, because if the band is smaller, I didn't think the first album would be popular enough to sort of justify a vinyl release, which sucked because I really, really love this album. Out of nowhere, they made an announcement that they're releasing their first album on vinyl. I was absolutely blown away. I could not believe it. I didn't think I would ever have this album on vinyl. So to have this is mind-blowing, dudes. Look how nice this looks. It's so cool looking. It's kind of got that like Pokeball look to it. It just looks so nice, and I just can't believe I finally have this on vinyl. I never thought it would happen. So I'm not really one to sort of suggest music to other people because everyone's tastes are subjective, but if you like the Stranger Things soundtrack, if you like metalcore, please check out The Cold Sun by Loathe. That's the only album out of everything on here that I will really, really recommend to you to listen, because it's... oh my god, it's so good. Next is Dinosaur Pile-Up Celebrity Mansions. Really happy to have this one. They're a band from Leeds. Come on. So yeah, this one's pressed on clear. Looks nice. It's very clean. Okay, so this one arrived the day after I recorded my first vinyl video that I posted last time, which was kind of frustrating because it's got an interesting story to it. But this is Energy by Disclosure. I've been collecting records for maybe 4 or 5 years now, and I've never known this to happen ever. So when people advertise a record, they'll show like a picture of what the discs are going to look like. It'll show you the colour, and sometimes it's been where they've shown a colour and it's arrived pressed on black. Yes, Bring Me the Horizon, I'm looking at your latest record. However, I've never known an album release to show one colour but not be quite what was advertised, but in a fantastic way. So what was advertised on the website was like a marble blue kind of colour. It looked really cool. this was the record that was advertised. It looks so cool. It's kind of like the Cop Syrup record, but on like a lighter blue. That same sort of effect. Really, really nice. Really happy with that. Now, on the website itself, it showed 2 of these. It showed 2 of them side by side. And so, normally I won't really check both records at first, because normally I'll just open it to see them, and then I'll listen to it down the line. However, in this case I did, because I was like, oh, cool, I'll just check that the other one's not scratched or anything like that. And I open it, and this was the other record. So, look how cool this is. I didn't expect to have 2 different colours. I mean, usually you pay more for something like that. I mean, it was expensive, but it wasn't more expensive than it would have been anyway. So, one of them's blue and one of them's this kind of yellow variant, and it looks really, really cool. So I'm super happy with how this has turned out. So next is Settle by Disclosure. I got Energy and I thought, you know what, I want to get the first album. The second one's a little bit harder to find, which is called Caracol, which I love that album. I love it so much. But this comes on like a really nice, like matte double gatefold. These are just pressed on black. And lastly, dudes, we are at the end. I have one more record to show you. This was a Christmas gift off my girlfriend, and that is the Attack on Titan's original soundtrack. So you can kind of see there the way that it's shiny. Look how cool it is. And so it opens up, you know, it's got the Scouts logo there, it's like that throughout, and then it's got 4 discs. It's kind of like some of the other ones you've seen, like the Stranger Things ones, and it just looks so, so cool. I'm so happy with this as well. It's nice because it's got a really thick spine on it as well. It just fits really nicely on the shelf. So guys, that's it for the video. Fun fact, this is the 3rd time recording this video due to technical errors. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, support the channel, leave a like, leave some comments if you're into any of the bands that you saw here. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye, dudes.